But we're kicking off our week here on Good Things with the newly crowned Choctaw Indian Princess, Miss Crosby. Hey, Miss Crosby.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well this afternoon. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I know it's been a whirlwind since you were crowned at the 70th Annual Choctaw Indian Fair. So how did the fair turn out? Was it a huge success?
It was. We had so many people, and I think everybody was just so excited to be back.
To be back, obviously, and crowning a new princess, which you got crowned there at the fair. But give us a little background on the Choctaw Princess. What's sort of the process that you girls go through to getting the crown?
The process that we usually go through is like the very first day before the pageant, that Tuesday before the pageant, we have interview, which can be very nerve-wracking. They ask us cultural questions. They ask us national questions. It can be us about us personally, as well as just even speaking Choctaw to them. And so that's really nerve-wracking. And then the next day, actual pageant day, we have this new segment of the pageant called the personal presentation, where you present yourself to the crowd, you present yourself to the judges. You can talk about your platform, why you should be princess, or just how our tribe and our people have impacted you. And then lastly, we have the traditional wear, where you get up on stage, you present yourself with your full traditional attire, and you answer one question.
Does everybody get that same question?
No, ma'am. It's different. You get into a basket, you draw from a basket a judge's name, and whichever judge you pick, they give you one question, and it is different for everybody.
Those questions always seem so nerve-wracking to me, just watching all the different types of pageants. I'm sure your pageant was no different, but a little bit different, though. You mentioned the traditional wear. It's not an evening gown when we think of maybe Miss Mississippi or some of the other pageants. It's beautiful attire there that is traditional to your culture, as well as your crown. So if we're watching over at SuperTalk.fm, we have your photo there where you won and have your crown on. Share a little background about the tradition or the cultural significance of your crown, because it's not what normally you would think of in terms of, the crystal pageant-y kind of crown.
Yes, my crown specifically, was handmade, beaded by a tribal member of our tribe. And it has the full tribal emblem on it with all of its meaning, as well as the designs on my crown. It symbolizes the tradition of our tribe. And I also have a matching sash pin that goes with my crown.
So there were a lot of man hours or lady hours that went into creating your gorgeous crown. And I know beadwork is one of those cultural traditions that the Choctaws take very seriously. And I read that it was part of your pastime. When did you start doing a traditional beadwork?
I started doing beadwork when I was about 8 years old. Like we would learn a little bit during summer school, and I would always see the different medallions that people would make, and I was just like, oh, those are so beautiful. I wish I could make them. And so my mom took me to an older woman, and she taught me how to make beadwork, and that is how I started.
So how important is it that you continue to pass down the traditions of making the beadwork? I know making baskets there, the Choctaw way is very, significant to your culture and your tribe. So why is it important to continue those lessons on to maybe next generations, but then also sharing those with everyone else?
It's important that way it does not die out. Like a lot of times you see different cultural aspects eventually die out. However, I want to learn each aspect as I can and pass it on to my children. That way they can pass it on to their children. And so therefore our culture does not become extinct.
I agree, and that beadwork, if you see it look, and everything that is beautiful should look easy, but it's not. It takes a lot of time and attention to put the colors together and make the patterns. Do you remember the first thing you made beadwork by hand?
Yes, I remember it was this tiny little purple medallion, and I would get so frustrated with it that I wanted to just throw it away or just put it down and never look at it again. But my mom started getting mad at me, like, you wanted to do this. You wanted to take the initiative to learn it. And so I picked it right back up, and I think my mom has it in her jewelry box right now.
Oh, that's awesome. But you've graduated. I read where you now make earrings and you make other type of jewelry. Do you keep those for yourself, or do you give them away as gifts, or what are you doing with your beadwork?
What I usually do is just give them away as gifts for my friends or my family members for Christmas and holidays.
Well, pretty cool. Put me on that list for Christmas this year. I've been a good girl. I should get some medallion earrings. Now, I think they're gorgeous. I think if anyone's seen that or the baskets that come from the Choctaw Indians, they're phenomenal in terms of craftsmanship. And I even think one episode of HGTV's Hometown, Aaron learned how to weave a basket from one of the natives there, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And I think those are things that, we should all know about and take pride in the fact that that's happening here, in Mississippi. Now, you are, I guess, the 70th Choctaw Princess, or at least the one crowned at the Indian Fair. Did you grow up going and watching other princesses get their time to shine?
Yes, ma'am. I always grew up watching the pageant, and I remember one particular year, my older cousin competed in the pageant, and so it was just an honor being able to look up to her and seeing her go out there and represent not only our tribe, but our community.
So what are your duties over the next year? I mean, do you get to get out and explore, or what will you be up to?
Hopefully, I really would like to get out and explore and travel like the majority of the princesses past have done. They usually go to Oklahoma or New Mexico or Cherokee. Hopefully, I will get to do that. But other than that, I will be doing events within our tribe as well as events around Mississippi.
Well, I know that will be weaved into also your coursework there at Mississippi State University. What are you studying? Have you made it back to campus? I know a lot of people are moving back to Starkville now, but tell us that and what you'll study.
I am an anthropology major, but I have not moved back. I moved back this Sunday, actually.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so for those of us who are like, oh, anthropology, we know not what that means. What will you be doing with that degree?
Anthropology is mainly just the study of people and their origins. I've always been interested in my culture and learning of other cultures, and I was like, oh, anthropology is the best way to go through with that. And so from there, I want to become a medical anthropologist and then come back and help my tribe.
How would you help your tribe with that degree?
With the medical anthropology degree, I want to come back and understand the health disparities, especially like COVID right now, as well as how it can impact the future generations.
Well, pretty big stuff. I think you are the right woman to sort of get that job done, especially there as the Choctaw Indian Princess. For those listening to Good Things, how can we help maybe support everything that's going on there with your tribe, or what would you like for us to know about the Choctaw Indians that we may not know?
The Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians is the only federally recognized band of Indians within the state of Mississippi. And even though we are the only ones, we are still very not looked down upon, but not very known within the state of Mississippi. Like, I can go to one of the surrounding schools that surrounds my community, like Leake County, and they don't really know a thing about the Choctaw Indians. They don't know a thing about our people. They don't understand how we have come forth, how we have become who we are and become such a large impactor on the state.
Absolutely. Well, I hope we're changing that just a little bit here today on Good Things. And you are welcome back any time that you want to share anything that's going on there or really cool and interesting, situations. You are welcomed here anytime.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you in Starkville and your degree.
Thank you so much. I'll
send you an address where you can send me those earrings, okay? I'm just kidding. Not really, but no, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All righty, pretty cool. That's your Choctaw Indian Princess, Miss Crosby. Beautiful. I hope you took some time to go over to supertalk.fm to see her and make sure you learn about the Choctaw Indians here in Mississippi. We've got more for you, though, coming up next.